Apologize, I was wrong.
Good night, everybody. Good night. Hope everybody can hear me. Welcome to another edition of the Senate. I am your co-host Neil Hoyt, and I'm joined as always with my brother, my co-host, my fellow senator, my boy Derek Marshall. Derek, how you doing?
I am here, my brother. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on to all the people in the Senate?
What's
Shout out to
going on?
everybody.
Don't let me sing that because we might get copy straight. Uh, so you know how we do. We normally plug music that has been playing. And as you can see, there is repping a very nice piece of merchandising for G Syndicate, his
That's
acapella
right.
group, number one acapella group in the Caribbean bar none. So we were listening to some of his tracks. You guys can, sorry, Derek, you can plug, you know how we do it. You can plug your stuff and let people know how and where they can find you and
Yeah,
what's
man.
coming up.
As usual, G Syndicate 6 at gsyndicate6.com. G Syndicate 6 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everything. Listen out for the music. We got some more stuff coming for you. So just stay tuned and look out.
Yeah, man. So we normally do our check-ins. Derek, how are you doing? I know your profession is one that is a bit uncertain in terms of what is going to happen. But other than how are you? How have you been? How you keeping? How you trying to keep yourself together in these times?
Yeah, I am doing all right. We hanging in there. We on vacation, quote unquote. Got a staff meeting tomorrow, but on vacation. Prepare as we go forward into April, getting ready for
Mm-hmm.
that. Lord knows if we'll be on the physical plant or if we will be back online. But I am
Mm-hmm.
going to get ready, irrespective of where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I am ready to, give out instruction when the time comes. Have my vaccine and everything. So just in the event that we are on the physical plant, feeling a little bit more comfortable, just a oomph more comfortable than if I didn't have that layer of protection. So yeah, I'm all right ish going forward
But
into the.
how the vaccine how has the vaccine treated you? Because I've heard some stories about people having some symptoms and that kind of thing. How any ill effects?
No, I seem to be one of the fortunate ones. I had a little soreness around the injection site, and that's about it. I didn't have any fever and headache and all that stuff. I was pretty all right. So I can't complain. Other people, I know some of the guys complain that they had a mash up, backaches, and all the old injuries
Yeah.
that they had from so it's all sport in a
Yeah.
mess. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been fortunate it didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
apparently my constitution
Um.
a little stronger.
Okay. Well, at least that means is a healthy boy, man. You're sturdy. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
As the man would say, you're upright. You're upright.
Upright, upright, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I am alright. Just riding the wave of emotions and going through the understandings of life and the ups and downs. One thing I must say for for everybody listening, you never you feel like you know life, right? But you don't ever stop learning life till you're dead here.
That's a
Till you
fact.
close your eyes, you don't ever stop learning life. So
That is a fact.
it's just interesting, my concepts of life and love and you know mental awareness and that kind of things. It's a trip, man. It's a trip. Anyhow, we here, we healthy, we live. I want to thank everybody for joining us as usual. Good evening to I see my man Dwayne, Ardo Atkins saying good evening, senators. Everybody that's joined us. No, Derek Marshall. You know how you just do it, right? You have done something again. This you have you have made a post on Facebook as you normally do on Mondays, where you try to garner discussion, feedback, opinions, that kind of stuff, drum up conversation around a particular topic. Now, um, first I have to say that you have done a question, you have done a post yesterday, Monday, and people have been responding to it. People have had quite a few things to say. Now, I first before you ask or you pose tonight's topic, I want you to kind of go through your thought process, for full transparency, how you come about your questions and how you word them. Are you doing it to be incendiary? Because we joke about it all the time, but are you doing it to garner a response? Are you doing it to drum up conversation? Are you doing it to, I just want to know, do you, like, is it all haphazard for you? Is it a bit of, up in the air? How was your thought process going into your post?
It's never haphazard. There's always a lot of forethought going into what I write, and that's in general. I rarely just write off the top of my head and hit send. So a lot of the topics I would have had put down for a little bit of time, had them there, and then I would decide, all right, you're gonna do this one this week or do this one the following week or whatever. And that those topics come up based on life and life experiences. So it may be a case where we had a discussion outside of this forum, and it actually brought a question, a topic for next week to me. I was going to see if I could kind of insert it this week, but then I remember that we had talked about doing this particular topic tonight. So I decided, you know what, I pushed that back to next week probably. We'd just do what we had said we would do here tonight. Because I know, like Blair, for example, who's a regular in the chat, he was looking forward to this particular topic, so I didn't want to push it back too much. So yeah, so my life experiences come into play, and they kind of and then the research I do on the topics, and they kind of inform what it is I want to ask. Sometimes, yes, I am deliberately incendiary in order to drive the discussion. Unfortunately, because I do that, it seems as if that filter kind of negates people coming to the conversation with good faith. They approach they see certain words and buzzwords and catchphrases, and they kind of get a little bit triggered, and they come to the conversation already with their back up on the defensive or on the very much on the offensive, right? On the attack. For me, I don't take anything personally. I don't put too much stock in it. So when people attack the post a little bit and ask directly what kind of, messed up, and it is a messed up, kind of messed up question it was. I did find it messed up. Oddly enough, this is one time that I didn't attempt to be particularly divisive in how I worded the question, but people still came on the attack. It came for me. It keep going back to my friend that called me a sexist a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that stuff is so funny to me. But I don't put too much stock in it because, again, I know who I am. I know how I get down. People close to me, they know who I am, how I get down, how I relate to people. So the intention to be incendiary is to drive the discussion. If I come and ask pretty normal questions and people don't get into their feelings a little bit, or they don't get a little triggered or upset, we don't have the discussion that we really want, right? Because the purpose of the discussion is to kind of bring people a little closer together through mature, through mature discussion, right? Leave the sign language out. We don't need it. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. You can leave that out. That really doesn't have any place in the debate or discussion when we're trying to bring people to a better understanding of each other. And that's what we're really trying to do. That's the purpose of this platform, for people to have an ear, particularly men to have an ear and have a say. And for ladies who want to know what's going on, to get a better understanding of men, you can tune in and you can have your say. You can listen, participate within the discussion and the debate. And your opinion is more than valid, you know what I mean? But it's important that both sides, because we interact with each other daily, but I don't think we really understand from. And the purpose of this forum, this platform, is to kind of get people to a better understanding of where the other person is coming from.
Right. On the heels of that, before you posed tonight's topic, you made mention to something where you say you purposely word your things to drive the conversation. Now, I want you to clarify that because people may see that as you trying to, it's like clickbait, you know what I mean? You're just trying to drop something so that people could come or whatever, just to get attention onto the podcast or whatever like that. I want you to clarify that by what you mean by you word your comments and your posts to a certain way to drive conversation. I just want you to clarify that for me.
Yeah, it is a little bit of clickbait because you still want people to pay attention to it. Unfortunately, some people spend a little bit more time paying attention to that and not really reading and trying to and as we were saying in the Anglican Church, to read, mark, learn, and inwardly digest. Some people don't go that far, so they look at the superficial part of it, the clickbait part, and they're done with that. And again, the feelings, again, the emotions, they fly at me either in my DM or live in the comment section. They just come at me, and that's fine. That's fine. But what I need people to understand is that it's not my page is not exactly a private page. It's not a closed page. So when you come and you make certain comments, people see, and while they may or may not comment in the comment section for everybody to see or respond in the comment section, they certainly do tell me. They certainly do message me in the DM or say personally one-on-one and say, yo, X always the case, you know what I mean? So the discussion is happening. I think we slowly building to the point where the discussion is happening more and more, across the genders or between the genders. Hopefully we get to that point where we can have a live Senate.
That'd be amazing.
We like almost an open forum, and we kind of have almost a round table discussion. Me, you, all the people in the chat. Hopefully we could get to that point somewhere near in the future.
Yeah. On the heels of that, yeah, that's the goal. The goal is, as we keep saying, the goal is to kind of understand each other a little better and get to the root of some of the things that trigger us. For example, your post yesterday. Now, first
before we go, Neil, let me just make sure that everybody in the chat so far, if you're here for the first time, go like the page, subscribe, share it with your friends, all that stuff. Because it's a community we're trying to build. We're trying to build a community, yes. So get everybody in there. Go ahead, my brother.
You're natural at this. Talking about you don't know anything about podcasting, you're natural. But
follow your lead.
All right, so frame your post yesterday. Obviously, you're going to read the question, but you kind of got to frame the picture that went along with it as well, because I think that is what kind of triggered some people on the post. So
So I posted a picture of Halle Berry and Lionel Richie. The picture of Halle Berry, and I put the two of them together. The picture of Halle Berry, though, she looks rather pained and stuff like that. She's clutching her Oscar trophy. And then the picture of Lionel Richie on the split screen is of him with his 31-year-old wife or girlfriend, whatever she is, partner, right? Now, I told you the other day, we don't know Lionel Richie as a teenager, you know what I mean? And we all know. So imagine Lionel Richie got a girlfriend that is, younger than we are. Let me see if we could that helps. Does it help?
Yeah, come a bit to your right. Yeah, good. I hope everybody can see that. We have Halle Berry here on the left and Lionel Richie and his young girlfriend, on the right. Okay.
Yeah, good. So that's it there. And so that was the picture I posted deliberately to kind of trigger some people. I know indeed it did. So the question that went along with it was, Is there anything wrong with women trying to consolidate on the best available man in their younger prime, even if it means getting with someone significantly older? Also, should older men be judged harshly for wanting to be with slash provide for more attractive women? And finally, what are the implications for men and women? How should they manage this reality? And boy, oh boy, people dealt with the age part of it, the age difference. A lot of people are like, age is a number, don't really matter. People, free to do their own thing. Um, as long as we're talking about as consenting adults, as one person said, age is irrelevant. Relationships serve a purpose, and if a young man or a woman can fulfill the needs slash desire of the older man or woman, and vice versa, there's harmony. Yeah, most people saying, he is free to do what he wants, she's free to do what she wants. And they may find that ask me what kind of messed up question that was. A lot of people feigned confusion.
Feigned confusion. I love
it. That they didn't understand what the pictures had to do with the topic or whatever.
But before you carry on, I ain't gonna lie to you there. It took me, I had to read this a few times because I read it first and I was like, I'm not sure if I fully understand. And then I went on the comments and then I saw people being triggered and then I had to read it again and I read it a third time. And then it was like, I kind of understood. And then it was like, at first, if you read it on a just, read the first, even the first paragraph, the first question, is there anything wrong with women trying to consolidate on the best available man in their younger prime, even if it means getting with someone significantly older?
Right. So let me deal with that first before we go any further.
Yeah.
Right. Let me deal with that further. Because it is not unusual to see older men with younger women. Right. That is not unusual. That's not strange. That's not odd. Yeah, we may laugh at it. We might look at it as or we might be pejorative in the comments we might make about it. Because immediately when you see a younger woman with an older fella, the first thing is that, boy, she can rob he. The first thing is that, she is going to fleece him. That's the first thing we think, right? As opposed to maybe, just maybe, it might be a case where, they genuinely enjoy each other's company. It might be a case where she might be attracted to older men. She might, and it may not be a case of her thinking, I got some daddy issues going on or anything like that. She might just like older men. You know what I mean? And as such, she gravitated towards that, right? Particularly when you find older men who are able to keep themselves in a certain level of fitness. Obviously, their means, they have more means now because as you get older, as a man in particular, you find that you earn a bit more. You're more stable financially or whatever, you in terms of your housing and your ability to provide shelter, stability, and that kind of thing. You kind of grow into that as a man. So it's not unusual or strange for, I don't find at least, for a woman to want to seek out those things or want to build around those things for herself. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you could let me know if that is the case. But I just that is
well,
normal.
from what I see about the question, what I can only surmise would be triggering about this question. You say, is there anything wrong with women trying to consolidate on the best available man in their younger prime, even if it means getting with someone significantly older? To me, when you put it like that, even if it means, I can only assume it conjures up imagery of doing something that is against your wants. It means, for example, you may say, look, the best available man, this is the best available man. He may be 40 years older than me, but you know what? This man got the money, especially if you use terms like consolidate, right? When I can only assume that that's why people would have been triggered there. I see you smirking. I didn't know if that was your intent, but for me, when I read it, and I as I said, I read it a few times. I read it, understood it to mean that basically, you know, if the best man for you, based on what you want, we talked about relationship requirements before, and the things you need to feel safe within a relationship. If the person that provides that is a man that's 40 years older than you, then is there anything wrong with getting together with that man, right? Because he's significantly older. He may be a
Exactly.
grandfather. He may have children older than you, in the case of Lionel. But is there really anything? And it's interesting that some people in the comments they did say, they don't see a problem with it once their age is but a number. If they um, if they are two consenting adults. So I find it interesting that people are triggered by that. I know the wording could be, but I mean, when you break it down, I see really nothing that points towards you saying, if you want a man for money, you've got a problem with you getting
It,
with the man.
it's really not that, Neil. It's really
Yeah.
not that. There's
Mm-hmm.
certain, and this is what I found ironic, right? A couple weeks before, when we started this whole journey, right? One of the first topics we dealt with would have been the qualities you find attractive in a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many women in said topic said a job. You know what I mean? So to come now and to be a little bit disingenuous and suggest that you don't need um, an older man, or if a man has those things you don't want them, it's a little bit baffling to me, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah.
People want what they want. Everybody wants comfort, stability, security, whatever you want to call it. Everybody wants those things, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with saying so. But people seem to think if I admit, as a man, that I like sexy women, that makes me
Yeah.
shallow, that makes me
Shallow. Yep.
superficial, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if my wants and what I like excludes other people, right? Um, Without taking into consideration that if you as a woman decide, hey, and this is the next thing, there have been songs throughout history that have dealt with these things. TLC, I don't want no scrubs.
And that was
Nothing
an
going
anthem
on.
20 years
Nothing
ago.
going on but the rent. You gotta have what? A job if you wanna be with me. And these
Be
are
with me.
hits.
Yeah.
These are hits. You know what I mean? So I fail to see now why we want to feign this outrage. When you suggest, Captain Sawyer sang a song a couple of years ago, um, that was essentially talking about the same thing. You know what I mean? Something for something, right? And I'm getting outrage, outrage. These things happen. These things are real. And I
Yep.
don't know why we seem to think that by hiding our head in the sand, that these things are not going to happen or that they don't happen. I just don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Let me just
Yeah.
admit that we like certain things. Let me
And
admit
that's
that
the
we like
thing.
what we like.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I completely agree. I mean, again, and it's funny because I find that a lot of people that are commenting on your posts, they don't come to these live streams to kind of get the other part of the play, if you understand what you're saying, because we have dealt with things like from the physical aspect of it. We talked about height versus width. We talked about height versus weight. We talked about requirements in a relationship to feel safe and emotionally secure and all that there. We talked about a myriad of things as it pertains to what is desired for a relationship for you as the individual, for both men and women.
And Blair is pointing out another song. What have you done for me lately? Was another big one. That's correct, Blair.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. And
big
all
trap,
these
big trap.
songs talk about women in a position and asking the man who wants to get with them. The price you have to pay to get with this woman is you gotta got a little bit of coin. Or if you don't have the physical coin, you gotta got some resources. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta be able to provide. And that
Yeah,
has been it from history, throughout history.
For time immemorial.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. My thing is, um, everybody, as you said, they like what they like. They need what they need. They want what they want to feel comfortable within the context of a relationship, particularly a healthy relationship for them. Therefore, I don't see a problem with if you want a man that looks sexy, you want a man that got money, you want a man that is emotionally available, attentive, you want a man that has a high sex drive. Shoot, there's nothing wrong with saying you're consolidating these things into a man that is older than you. Even if it means, and the thing is, even if it means, points out to me that that may be the only thing in your mind as a woman that tells you, oh, this person here is almost twice my age, or is more than twice my age. I don't know, because you have this societal preconceived notion within your head, where you may be thinking, how can I give a man that has 70 children by the time the child get 10, going into secondary school or wherever this man might look to drop down a day.
And that's part of that's the very last question. What are the implications for men and women? How should you manage it? Right? Because you people want what they want. See, Zoe Edie is saying people want what they want, maybe love, security, money, shelter, whatever. They go after it, regardless of what the real picture shows. However, maturity is important. Correct. People want what they want.
Yep.
And nobody's going to judge you for who you want. You are entitled to want what you want. But as you said, Neil, what are you prepared to do to get what you want?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you might want stability. You might want financial security, whatever. You want shelter provided, whatever. You decide, you know what? In order for me to get this, me as a young, attractive female or whatever, I am going to find a will do that 50, 60. In the case of this young girl, Lionel is 71 years old. And she hooked up with Lionel. And Lionel is going to provide for her. Right?
Mm-hmm.
His net worth is in excess of $200 million. So he sorted. He got it. He got it like that. So if he wants to spend some money on a young girl, show,
Mm-hmm.
do your thing, And if she is comfortable with that, do your thing, young girl. Nothing wrong with that, right? But what are the implications for her? Shoot, suppose Lionel gets sick. No, he on her hands. That's saying she got to be prepared to deal with it. No, he seems to be a fella that keeps himself in reasonably good shape.
Yeah.
So the chances of that are significantly reduced because of that. But
Mm-hmm.
again, in my preparation for the show, I tell you, I do
Mm-hmm.
my research.
Mm-hmm.
I came across a story of a guy, a lady. She called into the great Kevin Samuels. She called into his show, trying to see if she could to get advice about how she could secure a high value husband.
Mm-hmm.
Her She's divorced from her first husband. She and the first husband got married when she was 18 years old, and he was, don't let me lie, he was 53.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was 53. Fast forward now, because as you said, significantly older, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was cool, right? He provided, etc. Everything was good. She didn't really have to work if she did, but she chose to. My mom had everything covered. Fast
Mm-hmm.
forward now 13 years. My mom is 66. She's 31.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the age difference, now he's fighting. He was fighting for his life. He has some issues with cancer and stuff like that. And she kind of forego the sickness and the health vow. She kind of went past that,
Mm-hmm.
and she said things got a little tight in terms of there was as much money. He cut back the money he was giving her, and it started to get a little uncomfortable. It wasn't as comfortable a gig as it was when it first started out. And she
Mm-hmm.
decided to file for divorce. You know what I mean? And then she was asking how she would be able to attract and kind of secure another man of higher value. Now, at 18, she got with a guy that was 53 years old. You know what I mean? She was prepared to do that. And she was set for 13 years of her life, almost half her life, right? She was
Mm-hmm.
set because that was what she was prepared to do. On the other side of the coin, because she did that, obviously age comes in and health, right? And that is the downside of it. So, ladies, you prepare to get a dribbly old man to secure your financial future. If you prepare to do that, sure, go ahead. If of course not, if you want a young boy, to blow your back, man, like come, well, you might gotta sacrifice the money because the young boy ain't got no money. You know what I mean? He no come out of fresh out of university if he went to university, or he might be like me for the block. You know, money ain't exactly coming like that. Are you prepared to do
Yep.
that? Or he might be like me for the block but selling some drugs. So he got
We
money,
both.
but ain't necessarily legal. So are
Mm.
you able now to weigh the pros and cons? Yeah, he got money. He could pay for things. He could secure a certain lifestyle. He could buy a house, but the police might kick in the door for the house. You know what I mean? So in life, you're gonna be able to weigh the pros and cons, understand what it is you really want, and then ask
Mm-hmm.
yourself, what are you prepared to do to get it? On the flip side, now on the man side, you as a man might be decide, hey, I like young girls. I like to spend my money for young girls. And you might decide, shoot, I know they got me and another young boy. I can be the minister of finance, and then got a youngster that can be minister of romance. And they go with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you good, you happy. It's all about what you want and what you're
Mm-hmm.
prepared to do to get what you want.
Okay, let me read some comments. Nikki Nix, she said, it also ties into the fact that as some men get older and more stable, they prefer different things, a more youthful female, and are less impressed by other things. Natasha Greenwich, people want what they want, but let it be clear at the beginning of the relationship so everyone goes in with eyes open. Zoidi again, younger people don't think about the future or even the health of the partner you know. They only see instant gratification when the men have enlarged prostate and get to put in a catheter. I got a little graphic. What then? I got a little vivid. Um, yeah. So I mean, you're completely right. I know women that exclusively get with men that are at least 10 years older than them. I know women that I know. Well, for me, I've had the rule before, and since then I had to get rid of it, where I would only date a woman a certain amount of years younger than me. Um, and basically, you are looking for maturity in the. Well, for me, I was looking for maturity in the person. I realized I could find maturity in. Maturity does not necessarily have to be some. I know people that are immature at my age, and I know people that are very mature that are significantly younger than me. But you are completely right. It comes down to you're never going to find that perfect partner, right? Very rarely you're going to get all your boxes ticked, right? Um, for us men, for example, we may want a woman to because we want emotional stability, right? We don't want the drama, the heartache, the stress, the nagging. We want an active sex life. We want at least some sort of ease and cohesion with likes and wants and desires, ambition, that kind of thing, right? So to me, once you find a woman that ticks those things, then I don't see any problem with going forward with that. And likewise for women, if women want a man that is, you may not want a man to provide for you financially, but you may want a man that has a job and a steady source of income. You may want a man that is going to
And they all say they do.
yeah, and you may like a man that like going to cultured events. You may like a man that ain't just want to stop inside and do crosswords, and then you want a man that has an active lifestyle. He wants to go and watch movies or drink drinks or go to the wine and cheese festival or whatever he wants to do. But the point is I think the point here is that what you want comes in different packages, right? Everybody is of different sizes, ages, ethnicity, religious backgrounds, political leanings. Everything comes in a whole variety of packages. And when you go into a relationship, right, and if you see someone, you say, okay, this person hits all the boxes that I want, then there's nothing wrong in trying to pursue that. So to me, it is just funny to me that I find people get triggered by things like this, and every week we say this that the more people get triggered by things like this, the more I feel like what we're doing is important, and what we're doing is from a standpoint of transparency and kind of like an olive branch between the sexes, the genders, to kind of get a better understanding of why things are triggering us the way they do, why certain things are incendiary to us. Is it to do with us? Is it to do to some of the traumas that we have had? So I don't know, man. I just think that in human evolution, shoot, in nature, don't even go human evolution. The male of the species seeks out whatever they need to prolong their species in the female of the species. Likewise, the female of the species looks for whatever they need, whatever they want, or whatever in the male of the species. I know some people will go and say, well, they got this, I think it's the praying mantis or whatever, that the female is mate with the
Then bite
male and
off
they
your
cut off
head.
the head. Or yeah. You know, you hear all these stories, but predominantly in nature, as far as I understand, you know, creatures choose creatures based on what they want and need and what they seek out to feel safe. I
Yeah.
literally know. I have heard when I was a little man. I remember a woman saw my hands and said, your hands real soft, yeah. I can never date a man with soft hands like you." She want a man to gonna dig wells.
Yeah.
So that excludes me, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with digging wells or doing a hard day's work or whatever like that, but my skill set did not lend me to that. My education and my leanings did not take me in that path, right? So if you need a man, if you looking at my hands tells you that I am hardworking or I'm a man that can do things around the house or whatever, if you can look at my hands and think that, then fine. The point is that that's what you want. It may upset me depending on how far the interaction got, but in the end, what can I do? And to me, one thing that I've been struggling to understand is that people see qualities in other people, want things in other people, but they have hangups on the other things, or not willing to push through and work through certain things. And to me, it's like, look, if you want someone, if and this comes back to a lot of people having to be realistic and honest with themselves, right? What are what are deal breakers for you in a relationship, right? From a basic need, right? What is a deal breaker? For example, I like women that are attractive to me. I like women that are intelligent. I like women that are ambitious. I like women with high sex drives. I like women that have a sense of humor. I like women that don't take themselves seriously. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, I don't want a woman walking about like, we at a restaurant and somebody come and serve her a drink, pour water, and she just go away, okay, just go. I don't. That's that. You have to be a decent human being
Yeah.
for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other people may not mind a woman that says that looks at people that are in the service industry as just that, servants beneath them. That is on them.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, how you treat people, how you look at life, how the son of my mother, the mother of my son and I got together because we share similar core beliefs in terms of how to raise children, things we see as making sense, don't make sense of humor, and those kinds of things, right? So there was nothing wrong with that. Now, if she were 10 years younger than when we met, she was 20 or whatever, right? She's 10 years younger. That would not change because she still met the criteria for what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, if the woman was older and she still met those same things, I don't have a problem with dating a woman that's older than me either. So I do agree that people need to, and I don't know why we've gotten to a place where people have gotten so hurt to the point where they see simple Facebook statuses and posts and get triggered by these things. It's not like we saying, yeah, women, yeah, you rent Jew and you need to pay a bill. You got a problem getting sleep with a man seven.
Yeah, it's
I
always
don't
a
know.
little extreme. It's always a little extreme. I think what the real issue is, why the triggering happens is because people need I think they understand when you see stuff like this, a question like that they understand that there is a price for what you want. You know what I mean? Um, Men get that. Men understand that fact. Men understand that. If I break, I can't set a certain women. Shoot, that's just what it is. If I don't make a certain amount of money, I can't accept a certain women.
Yep.
That's just how it is. You know, men get that. Men understand that. But I think we've kind of massaged things to the point where a lot of women feel that there are. You see it all the time. All these different means of, if you can accept me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can get my worst almost as a test to see if somebody will accept your worst. Then you give them your best. But here's the thing: when you present your worst, certain
judge
people
you on your worst.
Are waiting to see your best.
I'm judging on what you show me.
Especially if people got options, they are not coming to get your worst. They say you only got one chance to make a first impression. So if you give me your worst, I'm taking your worst as what you are, and a lot of times it ain't gonna be no noise, ain't gonna be no quarreling, ain't gonna be no pushback, because men generally are not like that. So if that's who you is, all right, cool. That's who you want to do. That's who you want to get down. Cool. Deuces. And we out.
Nice. As you like the song you like to play all the time.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm out, you know? So there is a price to pay. You feel if this girl, even though this girl is young, you feel if she was getting like no stress that he would got you on the place?
Like, you know, then posing for the picture. Yeah. You can see that.
Happy.
Yeah. Like, you know, this happy. Whatever. Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? I am certain Lionel is more than happy to put his hand in his pocket to provide for this young girl.
But let me touch on that there right now, because at the end of the day, you gotta look at a few factors there, right? Because people may hear that and say, "Oh, she's a gold digger." That's what you're trying to say. No, what
you're not saying that at all.
From that, exactly. What I'm taking from that is, one, Lionel is a man that he's a man of means, many hit records, many Grammys, many accolades. So he is paid. Right, good. One. Two, obviously he's a man of older years, so he would have put in that work to have that means. And three, she may not be at the level, or I more than likely believe she is not at the level that he is financially, right? Because even if it were a case where, let's say, like, no, was not who he was, and he was a man that worked all his years or whatever, and is now in retirement or has recently retired, the chances of this young lady having the financial means that he has would be very low, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and then I don't understand why people are getting offended when we say things like the man has no problem providing financially for a woman. Because if the roles were reversed and a man say, well, women, I have heard women say, shoot, I always gotta give you money for this, or I gotta do that for he, or this and that and the next, right?
Yeah, so to me,
you have the financial means to provide for your partner, man or woman. What is the problem? What is the problem? You understand? So I understand the topic of money comes into play. I know a lot of people don't want to make it seem that it's about money or whatever, but it is not about money. It's about security. And when we say things like provide for a woman, for example, we are not saying that we providing for a woman, so a woman got to stop home barefoot and pregnant, or she got to stop home and clean and cook. Don't speak on the turn and make sure table at 7:00 before news. Like, no, that is not what we are saying. We are saying that in some dynamics, the man is the breadwinner. The man makes more money. The man, has no problem in maintaining the household financially or taking up the bulk of the responsibility financially, right? In some cases, that falls on the woman, right? You know how many women I have heard in the last 3-4 years that say they are tired of the financial responsibilities of running their household, whether it be single or in a relationship.
But nearly from the very outset of relationships, from the very outset, um, you ask out a woman, you ask to go to the movie or you're going to a dinner date or whatever it is. When that check comes, right? And this is what I want you to really consider. When that check comes, where does the waiter put it? If you go to um, a fine dining restaurant, for example, because technically speaking, the waiter is to put the bill, but who asks for it? But you could bet 9 times out of 10, man and woman out together at dinner,
The
bill
man put
put
it
by
on
the
the
man.
bill book, the man.
Bill put by the
Yeah.
man, right? Or
Some people may even argue that that is a construct of this patriarchal system that needs to change. It is the subtle things like that need
and
to
here's the
shift.
thing. Here's the thing. I am certain the men would agree to a point that if women want to pay, they want to go with that, sure, no problem at all. But I suspect that more often than not, men like to provide. Men like to know, hey, I can't help my girl. We going to the movies, we going driving, um, we going chompers, we going barbecue barn, we going in a Pink Star. And guess what? I foot in the bill. Right? Men like to know that. And here's the thing, more often than not, women kind of expect that. Right? There are women who will leave home, then all the guys will count skis.
He's on bread. Even shoot.
I vex money. Because the mother tell them walk with vex money.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
remember. Yeah. I remember I dated someone that came from a wealthy family, and she used to be upset because every time we went out, I would pay. We went to movies, I buying food and whatever. If we went to dinner, if we went anywhere, and she would always say, shoot, you ain't gonna let me pay for nothing. Like, every time the bill would come, she would say, well, all right, how much is it? And she'd be looking at the bill. And I'd be like, nah, give me back the bill. You're
Nah,
not looking at
you
the bill,
got it.
whatever. And the woman that was a conversation that was had where she was like, yo, you gotta let me treat you sometimes though. You gotta let me,
Yeah.
so it is funny because I find that we have gotten to a place where I saw somebody mention it earlier in the comments where you speak up about when you realize the relationship getting to a certain point, you have these conversations though. Like, all right, I realize we get to a certain level, right? And certain things going on or whatever. We going out, we dating, whatever. So let me talk finances. When we go, I expect you to pay all the time. Have those conversations. Or you say, if we go, I don't have a problem. I have had that conversation several times where it's like, look, if I hold in, because if I ask you out,
Yeah.
there's some people like that. If I ask you, if I tell you, come, let me go and let me go eat dinner, that
The
on me.
supposition is, I got it.
Yeah,
You know
right,
what I mean?
exactly. Right.
What I will say and what I will challenge, particularly the men here in the Senate tonight, strive to put yourself in a position where you cover the bill at all times. Strive to put yourself in that position. Right? That's just my challenge to the guys in the chat. But on the flip side, let me also say, let me throw this out to the ladies. You fight, you work to get to the position where you are, I don't want to say equal or fight for the equality, but for equity, as you said a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
right? So you're earning and stuff like that. You fought for that. So I see nothing wrong with a man saying, hey, let's go Dutch. Or hey, you pay. You know what
I
I
have
mean?
never, I have never, I have never had the traditional problems um, of money issues. Like, if I ain't got the money, let's say we go out and they're like, oh shoot, yeah boy, I ain't got this money, or because chances are, if you ask me or you ask me, let's go and do something, I would tell you up front, look,
Yeah,
I ain't
correct.
holding like that right now,
Who got
whatever.
it?
If she say no problem, it on me.
Yeah.
That is fine, right? There is never a situation where the bill comes and I kind of looking at it like and slide it to the woman. Like when the
Hey,
bill
look, we
comes, you
want it
know who pay,
home.
who pay. Exactly.
When the
You know what I
bill
mean? Like
come,
my
the keys to the
yeah,
bathroom.
yeah, right. So to me, I think we need to get past these because really and truly when you think about in the early dating stages, right? And we talking about finances is kind of a trivial thing, right? Unless you're dating someone that is a like we ain't
Penny
talking
pinch.
about that, but yeah. But if you have a situation, because obviously remember this is a precursor to being domesticated and being together in a space where both of you are dealing with finances. Whether the man pays half the bills, you all set up a joint account and you all put $500 and the other person put $500 and that pays the maintenance of the house, fine. Or if it's a situation that, because you may even go and say the person that makes the person that makes more money is the person that will take the lead on more expensive bills. Like what I'm saying is we need to get past these things where we are afraid or close-minded to talk about simple things like hypergamy, particularly when it comes to things like looks, finances, um, maturity level, that kind of thing. Because at the end of the day, we want a certain level of security within a relationship. You understand? We got any
David in
comments?
chat. Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Blair say women that hating on her just jealous because them can't put like Richie hashtag leave them alone. Stokely, nice to see you, Stokes. Welcome. I agree. Once you can assist and support your partner, isn't that the key? Yeah, you would like to think that. But sometimes I guess it goes from assisting and supporting to something else. So the continues there's value in maintaining the household that is priceless. Blair agreed. Steve, couples having a joint account nowadays is a touchy subject.
I don't understand that. Why would that be touchy?
I guess because it is people. I guess people is like approaching the thing with bad faith, as we talked about earlier. Um, People kind of just assume that something nefarious can go down. You you're walking into it saying, "I know you can get tech." You know what I mean? And if that is the case in a situation like that, you really gotta wonder what your selection process is like as a person. You know, if you can link up with somebody that you are confident is gonna steal your money, you know, you really gotta look at it and say, maybe this ain't the best person for me to be involved with. You know what I mean?
But to me, that's the exact reason why you set up a joint account for not trivial, but for utilities. Because I ain't giving you my PIN number to get my account to carry my paper, and you ain't giving me your whatever for me to go in. Whatever we have a joint account. I put money, you put money. If you decide to carry the money, then we ain't got no light nor water for the money.
Simple.
It's that
Simple.
simple. I don't see why a joint account would be a touchy issue, to be honest. Steve here talking, one person usually contributes, and the fear of breakup gives you the fear of being brat one day. Again, it's a joint account. If me and a woman and myself, we are in a relationship. We open a joint account. We say, look, all right, good. We live together. Internet is XYZ. Water is XYZ. Light is so and so. Groceries is so and so. We got 2 cell phone bills. It's so and so. When any month come, that's $1,000. Yeah. We say, okay, we open a joint account. We put $500 every month by the 15th or whenever you get paid, right? But it is understood that from that account, we will be paying the bills from it. So if a month come and you realize the light off, you have not been, especially if you all have decided who is taking care of the bills and doing the banking and whatever like that. If the responsibility is not on you to pay the bills and you realize you turn the night lights off, or you're going to take a shower, the water off, then what you do is say, all right, you mismanaging the funds, what going on or whatever. And if the person carry the money to live the life or whatever, then you say, well, thanks for the memories, but you will not have lost anything. So I don't see how if you're robbing from that account, you essentially robbing from
From yourself.
us. Yeah, you ain't robbing from me. Why would I literally know. I remember I used to work with a woman, her husband, the man said he used to get paid and he used to take the entire pot, get the woman. The woman had, I think he got an ATM card. and get the woman. A matter of fact, the woman is who get the ATM card. He pin it and get the woman the card, everything, right? Get the man get the woman, pay apart everything, right? As far as he concerned, I work, everything in your name. So you make the trips for vacation, you make plans for groceries, you do what you want with the money. Point
Oh,
is, I ain't gonna tell you, I ain't gonna tell you when the reckoning come, right? It was like, how 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 are we giving? That don't make sense to me, yo. That don't make sense to me. I'm not saying the thing about it is, right, and I know some people get touchy with prenups and that kind of stuff, right? But if I suggest starting a joint account and you get upset at that, telling me, well, why you don't just give me your PIN number or why you don't, that was you wasting so much time with Neil Hoy. I can tell
not
you
me.
that. No, not me. That's right. That's right. Um, yeah, I know. We got more comments here. Agreed, Tonya. Good night, Tonya. Agreed, Neil. Natalia. Good night, Natalia. If I ask you, oh, I'm paying. How do some women expect differently? Only John know, Natalia. I can't tell you. It's totally no issue in having a joint account. But both partners should still have their own individual ones. Both persons
Correct,
should
correct.
agree on how much they both invest. But you see, that's the thing about it, right? Derek and Stoley. Like to me, I don't know if it was because one of my second job was that in a financial institution, particularly in investments. So that gave me at a very young age, at 20, and in the majority of my 20s, it taught me a lot about financial management, right? I have seen partners do some very unscrupulous things. And I have seen people do things that make sense. You 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 manage your money. Basically, you have a joint account that takes care of the utilities of the house, as well as any incidentals like vacation or date night or whatever, right? You have because at the end of the day, still, it is incumbent upon you to build your wealth, your individual wealth, right? Now, if you have the means to do it and you have the wherewithal, you could set up another account where the joint account is for you guys to build financially together. But I always look at it like this, right? I will start a joint account, take care of bills, whatever, whatever. I am going to make sure my bills, because you will go be mad if you're not saving money if you go to a job. Because the day, shoot, COVID, you never got to lose your job. COVID hit, you need to dip into some savings,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you can't only have a joint account to say, oh, shoot, with the joint account dry up. I ain't got the money for myself. And likewise, I would not expect a woman to come and tell me, yeah, but I want the money. So I just think that, and that's another thing. I ain't looking over my shoulder at my girlfriends or my wife's money to say, oh, you should do this with your money or you should do it. If you ask me for advice based on my history, then fine. But I ain't telling you what to do with your money or what not to do with your money. I just know that you can't come and tell me you want a Louis Vuitton bag or whatever. I would say the money in the joint account, bills paid, the money in the joint account. I'm not fighting joint account for that. But I just, we need to get past this issue of money. We need to get past this pride thing of being provided for, because at the end of the day, the tradition states that a man provides for a woman financially, but a woman is in control of the emotional stability within that relationship. Yeah, is in control of the sexual access in that relationship. So don't let us make it seem that, yes, I mean, from a materialistic standpoint, money is very important. You need money to buy food, put gas in your car, to take care of yourself. But let us not forget that the intangibles like emotional security and safety, um, sex, access to sex, and just ease with the relationship in terms of how things go and how smoothly things are, that is usually in the possession of the woman, in control of the woman. Therefore, don't make it seem that man providing money and you ain't providing nothing, because we still leaning on you for certain things. So I don't know. I think we need to get past this thing of, because men don't like to talk about emotion, and recently women don't like to talk about money in relationships, apparently,
Yeah,
which is
I
strange to me.
guess because everybody's afraid of being considered a sex worker, I suppose. So they seem to think that from the time money is involved, that it's a case of trading sexual favors for
But
money.
who's that on though? But who's that on though? You see, this is my thing with that thinking, right? Like, I understand there are some people out there, specifically men, that tell, I put $500 in your account the other day. You got to do something strange for a little bit of
Hannah,
change, right?
Hannah,
That is that is nonsense. But I find some women are making this thing like, oh, this is a sexual transaction. It is not apples to apples. It is not, and like, you give me a receipt every time we have sex. You understand? Like,
exactly, exactly. It's not that at all.
no, it's not that. It is men like sex. Men are sexual and visual creatures. We are tactile individuals. Therefore, you control sex. And it may, I gather for some women, it's not as important as it is for men. Whereas financial stability is not as important to men as it is to women. The point is that we need to stop thinking about this thing like a sexual transaction, because everybody loves sex. Yeah. Everybody likes that
Agreed.
feeling you get from sex, whether it be emotionally, physically, whatever. Right. But we gotta stop with this thing. Like, if I put $500 in your hand, that means you have to give me sexual favors. No, I should not have to put money in your hand to decide to strip for me. Likewise, I shouldn't have to put money in your hand for you to strip. Or likewise, you don't have to strip for me to put money in your hand. The point is, there are exclusive things. There's a subdivision within the relationship. You look to me for a level of security, and I look to you for a level of security as well. They may be in different categories. One may be finance, one may be emotion, one may be sex, one may be cooking. It don't matter. The point is that we have to define and have these unsexy conversations, as you like to say, and set up parameters as to what we want, what we need, who's in charge of what, acknowledge those things, and let us understand what it is. It should never come to a point where you come in a lingerie, she won't say no. Or I put money in your hand, you're like, oh, okay, I guess this man want me to bend over. And no, no. So, we got more comments here. See, no issue to that. Blair, if you ask him, see me less.
Straight.
Tonya exactly stood. Yes, she agreeing. Natalia, I believe in joint accounts, married or just living together, correct? Because the house has to be maintained, but obviously not any other account. A joint account should never be a problem. Agreed. And so said Blair. Steve is saying no
No
romance without
romance without
finance.
finance.
Nikki Nix,
The fear
the
with money that
fear
Steve
with money
mentions
that
is
Steve
not.
mentioned. Go
Go
ahead, go
ahead,
ahead.
bro.
Oh. The fear with money that Steve mentions is not usually when things are going well, but for when they fall apart. Agreed.
Into the
Nikki, that's
prenup.
correct. Yeah. Yeah, and Zoe is agreeing with me. Yeah, so I mean,
Into
yeah,
the prenup. Call it
we talked about
insurance.
Derek talked about this a few weeks ago about Steven Jackson left his wife on the altar because she was dilly-dallying with signing a prenup. Now, for those of you who don't know who Steven Jackson is or was, he's a former NBA player, would have made millions in his. He won a championship as well,
Yeah.
but he had a relatively successful NBA career, made a lot of money, and he was getting married a few years ago. And for months leading up to the marriage, he was, letting the woman know about this prenup, and she had agreed to sign the prenup. Yeah, you gonna sign it? He was like, yeah, banning the marriage, setting up everything, and he was like, yeah, babe, but I don't want to be that kind of man, but you gonna sign this prenup? She's like, man, yeah, I got that day to sign. I got that day to sign. The day of the wedding, I'm talking about everybody dressed, woman get her makeup done, man putting on his cufflinks. And the man, I don't know, I can't remember if his lawyer was there, but I think it was him and like a family member or a lawyer, I can't
It
remember.
was is
But
him,
they,
Stephon Marbury, Mike Bibby, all
oh,
NBA
right,
ex NBA players.
right, and it was like, yeah, so we about to get married, needed to sign this prenup. She brought down crying. She was like, why you need me to sign this prenup? Da, 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 da. Mind you, the woman agreed to sign this prenup months before. And every time he brought it up, she was like, yeah, I can sign it. She never ever brought up that it was a problem. But on the day of the wedding, when my mom said, look, before, man's an NBA player, man's worth millions of dollars. And we have seen it up and down where when you go into divorce court, man or woman, if you don't have that prenup in place, expect half your money, if not more, to be disappearing out of your bank account.
Yep, and
So,
his reasoning too, Neil, is that it was only her and their family, but he had other people he was taking care of as well, and he could not afford to be taken
Exactly.
to the cleaners
Exactly.
with a divorce. So it's not that
Exactly.
you approach a relationship saying, "Oh, we get done, so you get ready for
Yeah.
that." But it's better to have it in place and not need it than to need it and not have it. Kind of like car insurance.
Yep. 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 So, yeah. So that was a problem, and I know we like to believe in love. I believe in love. Believe me, I believe in love. I am. I would like to say that most of my principles are driven with love, right? But at the end of
Good
the
luck
day,
to
right?
you, man. Good luck to
At
you.
the end of the day, at the end of the day, right? Don't say good luck to me, cause as much as I love love and love being in love, let me tell you,
Love don't
I
love me,
would
man.
not.
Eric Benet.
I
Ironically, he's one of
well,
Halle Berry's flames.
all right. Well, I'm glad I'm glad you brought us back down to earth because we still have to carry on. There's another part. We addressed the first part about woman consolidate a woman choosing the best man regardless of age in her significant other. Also, the other part of the question goes: should older men be judged harshly for wanting to be with, provide for younger, more attractive women? Um, would you say we addressed this before? Because
Not
you see
really.
me, like me.
We kind of dealt with the things around that, but not this specifically,
Mm-hmm,
because there seems to be a little bit of a stigma attached to that.
mm-hmm,
Uh, then you get a lot of judgment, or she got he to pay rent. Um, then every crop over you see a meme come out say a picture of old dude and a young girl, and you say, this particular frontline costume go by. That's the kind of thing you would see. So
mm-hmm.
people never look at it from the perspective of it's just two people who like one another and have managed to work out a deal that, and when I say deal, I use deal in its loosest terms, a deal that
But
is
don't. But hold
beneficial
on, don't do
to
that.
both
Don't do
parties.
that. It is a deal.
Yeah, it's a
It
deal.
is a
Marriage is
deal.
a deal.
You mean
Relationships are.
shake? Yes, you ain't. The only difference is that you ain't shaking hands with the person. You're kissing them. You're saying I
Yeah,
do and kissing them, and you
yeah,
still gotta go and in the back. You still gotta go in the back and saying.
yep. It's a deal.
So.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
deal with a long ranging deal with now some long lasting consequences, but a deal
Yep.
nonetheless. And
Mm-hmm.
we tend to look at it and we assume, yeah, boy, she can hit he pocket, or a case where, yeah, he want nerves, that kind of thing. So it never seems to be, or on the flip side, they say he taking advantage of this young girl, you know, as opposed to it being the complete opposite thing where he's actually taking care of this young girl. People don't look at it that way. It tends to be a case of, yeah, either she robbing he or he is taking advantage of her. People never
Remind
look
me, I
at
got. Remind me to. I can let you finish, but remind me. You see that take care of part. I want to circle back to
yeah,
that.
okay, yeah, but people never seem to look at it as a case of it being a mutually beneficial um, situation. I guess particularly within the West Indian context, people always seem to think somebody getting fleece. You know what I mean? So I think that we need to, and then I even saw the word pedophilia come out in the comments. I can't remember how it was used within what context, but you do get that as well, where people say, "Oh, he's an old pervert, he's a pedophile," that kind of thing. He robbing the cradle. Them is the kind of comments you get. So I think we need to kind of see if we can move away from that a little bit.
Yeah. Right. So the point I want to make about taking care of, right? I think some people do also have a problem with the term taking care of, for example, and that's usually used in the context financially, particularly for a man taking care of a woman, right? In terms of financially, some people are triggered by that because I can only assume they don't want to be taken care of. They can take care of themselves. But again, it goes back to what that woman is doing for that man. It may not be sex. The woman may be emotionally taking care of the man. The man might be working hard and coming home crying, saying, "You, I running this company, right? And we got this contract, and I 2 months behind. And let me tell you, I in jeopardy of losing this contract." And a man is stressed out, and the woman alleviates those and creates a space of emotional safety and security where he has a space to be vulnerable and relaxed. Or she might have a space where she let him come home and watch football or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you have to look at what the woman would do for you, right? What the woman does for the man as well. The woman takes care of the man too, whether it be emotionally, cooking food for the man, making sure your house clean. That is also a form of taking care of someone. But I find people are getting triggered by this. Oh man, he's that care of she. Oh, what you mean she's a gold? I
And
don't know.
let's extend that even further, Neil, because again, you're talking about what people want and what they need, because what you may need in a relationship is not necessarily what I may need. You know what I mean? Um,
But
we talk about taking care of, and you said she providing a space where he could come home and just watch football or whatever. It might be a case where he doesn't need that. He might be a guy that when he come home, he just want a brandy. He good. Or he comes home, um, a little shoulder rub or head rub or whatever, I good. Or some men might not need that. Some men might say, hey, I want to play the food, you know. Or, sure, just give me a little hot water and some tea. So it's what you need and what the person is willing to provide, right? By the same token, let me extend this here. We talking hypergamy and all that. Um,
mm,
or some women seem to think because they are now qualified, they earn more and stuff like that, that makes them more qualified for a relationship or for the man that they're looking for. I saw Blair mentioned it earlier that women date across and up. Men don't really care. We date across, up, down, wherever, right? We don't really
yeah.
care. Um,
Mhm.
but you may have all the academic qualifications in the world. You may be making all the money in the world, but guess what? If a man doesn't want that or doesn't need that, you still out to sea.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? He might
Mhm.
want, mom might just want somebody that listen. As you said, he come home, he got hell running a company. He just needs somebody to sit down and listen and be a sounding board. So within a
Shoot.
relationship, it's
Mhm.
always
Go
what
ahead. Go ahead.
the person needs in that specific situation. What
Mhm.
you might need, Neil, is going to be different from what I may need. And
Yep.
it requires people to recognize that when they go into a relationship and operate accordingly.
Yep. Yep. Agreed. Agreed. We got any comments? Yes. Tanya Seeley, he is right. He was right. I think that's with regards to Steven Jackson. Natalia, I remember my first full-time job. One of the women I worked with in her 30s at the time said, "One day all women is whores." First time I ever heard that, and I couldn't believe that was how people actually thought. And that was from a woman, yeah.
Yeah, that was what a woman.
Toya goes on. The term was used there, but it was clearly stated by, I think, most people that it was only a problem if an underage person by law, and
Okay,
if not, okay. Well,
okay, thank you
I
for that.
that affiliate don't make sense to me. So Zoidi, everyone wants being taken care of in some form or fashion. Yeah, agreed. Um, Tonya
Yeah,
City
that's what I
says,
said.
"Come on, there are a lot of women that don't. They don't.
Nah,
I I don't know many.
I don't
We're
know
not
many.
saying.
I
I
don't know many.
mean,
Uh,
I will be honest and say I don't know. I don't
Neil,
know.
so
I'm not saying
listen.
that it doesn't happen. I don't think. Okay, so it's not that it doesn't happen. It's not that women don't date down. But shoot, I find the older that I am getting, I ain't seeing that unless the woman maybe what she's looking for is not necessarily financial security or even emotional security or whatever. She might be woman may want little sex. The woman may want a fun
Yeah,
time.
yeah, Neil. I relate to go with you on that. I don't know if we should say, let's not confuse dating down with sleeping down. And I don't even think that women do that much either. But women definitely look for somebody on their level to start. and then they go up from there. I you rarely see a woman say, he ain't got much, but I cool with that. Let me carry home long term.
You will
Nah,
still get same.
you'll give peace, but in terms of carrying home to meet your mother, nah.
All right, what else we got here? We got exactly Derek. That's Nikki Nix. Tonya saying yes. No. Steve, that brings to mind the concept of reachers and settlers. Tonya is what, Derek? What? Untruths, Derek.
I just call it as you see it, but that's something that we could definitely discuss. Um, I am down for that. I am willing to have that discussion. Pretty much because I know Tonya to be level-headed and willing to have
Yeah,
that discussion. I'm willing to have that, so we can do that.
yeah, yeah. All right. So what's the other part of it was a third part to your
Yeah, just the
what are the
implications,
implications? Right,
and I think
right.
we touched on that a little earlier
Mm,
tonight in terms of the implications for that this dating with wide age gaps. We kind of
mm,
touched on that a little bit in terms of health, resources, and stuff like that. You may go to sacrifice some of your youthfulness, so you might not, that might impact the sex a little bit. The ladies are saying they don't agree 100%. That's fine. Um, Definitely willing to have. This is what we need to have a live Senate. You know what I mean?
yeah. Mm.
Um, because it'd be interesting to find out why the women who are dating down are dating down. Is it a case where maybe this might be another topic where there are not many viable options, dating options for modern women? Maybe it might be that. And and what do they
Maybe
consider
it could be about maybe it's about
dating
control.
down?
Maybe it's about control.
Yeah, maybe that might be the reason why um, modern women are choosing to date down. They figure that it allows them a little bit more control, or it might be a case where there aren't any options. Ladies, you could verify for us in the chat which it is. If there are no options,
Natalia
did
saying she dated down and married down.
you stay married, Natalia? That is the question. Did you stay
That
married?
is the question. And would you date down and marry down again?
Again, would you do it again, Natalia? Come on.
And many happily because they love a man. But and that's another thing I was going to say to Tonya, because I think that can also be because let us not take out the factor of love, right? Love is, once you got that love, once you have that, you may not see anything. You may not see it as dating it down, dating up. You may just see the person as the
Possibly.
person, and you love this. You know what I mean? As far as you're
Mm-hmm.
concerned, the man can make $2 when the week comes. Fact is, you love this man, and you're willing to stick it through thin and thin,
Yeah.
and that is commendable because that's a very important thing for me. A woman that will stick it out and be with you in the trenches, and be willing to work it through.
And
So
I think that's part of the conversation we talk about implications for men and women when you're talking about that age gap, hypergamy and stuff like that. Because you as an older man might got a young girl, but then as in the case with the 30-year-old and the 65-year-old, he got sick and she was like, deuces, on to
yeah,
the next, you know what I mean? So that too is part of the price you pay when you decide you want to go down that road and you
yeah.
want to date like that.
Yeah, because for some people they would see it as it is selfish for me. Sorry, it's selfish for them to expect me to take care of them when I have my life to live. You're at the end of life, and I'm in the prime of my life. I should go and live my life. And to be clear, if a man dating an older woman or a woman dating an older man, that has happened. I know of cases where both the woman skipped town on the man or woman while they got sick. So don't let me make it seem like I thought about women or men. I don't know, man. I
And
find
Tanya is saying that I'm really being ridiculous. So just give me a little clarity on what it is I'm being ridiculous on, Tanya. Or maybe they just love you, man. I assume that that's the reason why they dated down or married down. I guess that's
Nicky
what
Nick.
there's a response to that. So just give me a
Yeah.
little clarity what I'm being ridiculous about or was ridiculous about.
Right,
Uh,
Nicky Nicks. It depends on what a person is searching for. On the one hand, we established Lionel Richie dating down is his choice, and no women admit it. Goes both ways. They are viewed differently. Slippery slope. Slippery slope.
there's a way people say, but is Lionel Richie dating down?
And that's the
Can
thing.
you is
And
that dating down for him?
no, as far as Lionel concerned, right? First things first, this is Lionel Richie. So unless he is dating within a
Like
certain age,
JLo.
not age bracket, sorry, financial bracket, right?
Exactly. He
The
gonna be forever
man is
dating down.
right. As far as he concerned, he may not see as dating no, because the woman may be his intellectual equal. She is attractive to him, and as
Yeah.
far like again, we don't know what his boxes are ticking. We're not. That's the thing. We're not even saying that Lionel Richie dated down. We're merely saying that you know he has chosen and gotten together with the best person for him, and he seems happy. Like we can only assume that she is doing the same thing by dating a man significantly older than her, right? But in terms of dating down, dating up, we were not talking about that within the context of Lionel Richie because when a man or woman making a certain amount of money, let's
Yeah.
be honest,
Everything
the
is
argument
dating
could be
down.
made. The argument could be made, that they're dating down regardless because of financial status and social status. So, um, Tonya Seeley, they love the man,
All right, I
so
got
they
you,
don't
Tanya.
consider the okay, consider it. This is Steve. Derek, could it be reachers and settlers? She's reaching, he's settling. Mm. Mm.
Uh,
I think Steve, I would say that would have to depend on the type of situation.
yeah, you
I
can't
don't
really speak
think,
to that
yeah,
without
yeah,
knowing
yeah,
the ins and outs
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
that dynamic because as we just saying, it's always gonna look like everybody's reaching because his net worth is what it is. So it's always gonna look like if he's whoever he's with is gold digging, for want of a better term. But it really may not be that. Nikki Next is saying exactly what I say pretty so. At what point do we establish that a person's choice is dating down?
Mhm.
Hmm. That is a very good question. I guess we can say dating down comes into play when we start looking at
To judge the
the
person.
yeah, and well, not let me not say judge, but judge the circumstances surrounding the relationship. So if you can look
Mhm.
at the relationship and say, sure, this guy is funneling money into this woman or whatever, and he's not reaping any benefit from it. So we hear a lot about men who only very recently we heard a story nearly about a guy who took out a loan to repair a girl's house, and the girl living in the house with a man. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I believe that stories like those are more um, around than we would like to really acknowledge. But something like that, I guess that would be a case of him dating down, if you could call it dating, but hanging out with somebody who does not have his best interests at heart. I guess that's the best way to look at it. Mary J. Blige, she had Can Do Exacts. Can Do was her. They were involved, married, and then when things fell apart, Can Do wanted $170,000 a month. He wanted Mary J. Blige to pay for His children, not hers, not theirs, his children pay for his parents' transportation, the vehicle they had, the apartment they lived in, and stuff like that. So something like that is definitely dating down or marrying down because you're going to hook up with somebody who does not have your best interests at heart, somebody who is essentially a leech. And it doesn't seem as if it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Well put. I can't argue that. We going Nikki Nick's judgment without all facts. Steve responded to Tonya, LOL, true. Cheryl Leslie is just like Celine Dion and her late husband Renee. Dan was like 28-year-old, a 28-year-old gap. No, that's a very interesting point because would you consider that Renee was dating down? Because Celine Dion was making any money. So, but you just put it you framed it in the right context because they, from all reports and everything like that, they both had each other's benefits to heart and everything like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah. Mutually beneficial. That's what you
yeah,
really
mutually
want.
right. Philip Burke. Good night, all. Good night, Philip. Depends on what the two individuals want. If they like one another, then let them roll. Steve, if he was Lionel Richie, would he even exist in her world? Ooh, who knows?
Well, that is the question there. I'm going to hazard a guess and say probably not. He'd just be another old man.
But to be honest though, Steve, let us not that I don't know if that's completely fair because at the end of the day, celebrity does come with a bit of um, you are going to be conspicuous. You're going to be in the public's eye. You're going to be well known. I would say a lot of people know who Lionel Richie is. So to say if he wasn't Lionel Richie and just some random man, their paths may have never crossed, and it may not be because she's not looking for
Exactly that.
a man that ain't
Exactly
like
that.
the Richie. You know, it just so happens that she probably maybe they went to a party or whatever, and she said, "Hey, Lionel Richie," and Lionel Richie put two words on her, and she said, "All right, Lionel, let's go."
Yeah,
Right?
because
And
we talked a couple of weeks ago about Lori Harvey. Her name came up. Maybe talked about body count a couple of weeks ago. Lori Harvey's name
right,
come up, and people wondering how it is that she was still able, after dealing with Future, Future's demand, um, after dealing with Future, she still managed to get a good guy like Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B.
But it's the access. You know what I mean? The access. She had the access to a guy like Michael B. Jordan. So you never know. If Lionel Richie didn't have that access, or if he was on Lionel Richie, maybe she wouldn't have or want access to Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Natalia, well, there you already know the answer to that. I lived and learned
And
through
learn.
that experience.
Amen, amen.
Right, Steve saying Cheryl goes, wow, it's so true. It really in the music. Nikki Nix, that is a separate and distinct issue. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I am not your superwoman. That's Cheryl again. Uh, Steve, like Derek said before, are there really any ugly millionaires? Devil's
Nope.
advocate.
Nope.
Uh,
Jay-Z is like the perfect example of that.
I mean, Tonya, sorry. But they both brought something to the table in Selena Renee's case, exactly, because he was rich
Correct.
and he got more rich with her. But if he
Correct.
didn't, he would have been a millionaire still.
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, agreed. Yeah, I mean, to determine ugly millionaires, right? I don't know, man. Personally,
I've never seen one.
I
I've never seen one.
I I mean, money does help, but to me, you go. I always used to say, right? I mean, we used to make jokes when we were younger men and say, "Shoot times hard, boy. We can go do something strange to get some of this change, get up on the beach and find a white woman from Germany, right?" And we would make that joke often. And when I really thought about it, I don't know if I could, like if I butt up a billionaire, but she's like 63, overweight,
Mm,
wrinkly, pasty, bad teeth.
eh. Oh
Eh,
man, it goes back to what I asked earlier in the podcast. What are you prepared to do for what you want?
I
There
I
are
am
some
prepared.
men that are a little bit more mercenary. They'll be like, I
I,
got this. Yeah, you might be old and crusty and
I,
dusty, but shoot, bring some margarine or whatever and let me work this, you know what I
boy,
mean?
for my engine to start. For my engine to
I've
start.
actually heard of that as a story where a guy had a very similar gigolo situation, and she, because her age or whatever, she like started to, let's just say he had to use margarine for assistance and finish the job.
Yo,
Let me just leave it at that, you know. Yeah, these are the things I hear, folks.
Yeah, for me, I'm a very visual and tactile person, and yeah, my engineering will start if I'm not attracted to it. So yeah, so I
Boy,
guess I
something
have
will
to
make it
work for my
work.
millions. We gotta work for we millions, boy. Unless, of course, Holly, if you're watching this, once you don't put me in child court, if you don't put me in child support, I still take a chance for you. But
Don't you, honey?
not that we circling back to that picture. No, you obviously put up. We've spent the majority of the evening talking about Lena and the young lady, but let's talk about the flip side of that now, where Holly, um, and other celebrities, female celebrities like Stacey Dash, I can't seem to get right when it comes to marriage or whatever. And yes, I know um, there are situations where men may have done things to them or whatever, right? But for me, I refuse to believe if you married 4 times that the man was a dog all 4 times, though. Like,
I agree.
you don't
You
live and
know,
learn.
so as Zoe
I
80 is saying, every clock has its owner, but it doesn't seem like if
Yep.
Stacey Dash and Halle could find their owners,
Yeah.
which is funny because Halle Berry was the most beautiful woman on earth, voted that 3 times in a row or something like that, 3 years in a row. Stacey Dash, an exceptionally beautiful woman.
Still
But
gorgeous to me.
yeah, and they're both 54, I think, but still struggling, it seems, to find somebody that is in it with them for the long haul. And
But you
you really got
see,
to ask yourself why.
no, for me, I would tell you this. For me, the reason why, like, and I'm not talking as Neil Hoyt now. I'm talking about if I were in that circle or was in that stratosphere in terms of money. The reason why we'll not look at Halle Berry or Stacey Dash is because of why Halle Berry got somebody in paternity court or what not paternity court, what is call it for child support. Why Halle Berry got somebody in court for child support? Like, that is a public mess. Like, why would I want to put myself in some, like, I don't want a day that me and she got argument about, I don't know, shoot, whatever. And she all of a sudden get vexed at me and one call me out on TMZ or whatever, saying name is Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash, she has made some pretty weird and incendiary comments, particularly when it comes to politics and that kind of stuff.
I'm black man.
Black men. So to me, I believe that the reason why these women struggle to have successful relationships is because of their worldview and the way they handle certain things.
Yeah, I think they
No,
just choose
there's,
poorly.
I don't think,
Like Nate
listen,
is
I don't,
saying, but
go ahead.
who tell you they're looking for a stable thing? Um, I think they've both been married 4 times. So that alone
I mean, at
tells me
this
that they're
point,
trying their best to find something stable.
I mean, um, or do they have a type and keep subconsciously going back? Mm.
Very possibly, Stacey Dash has dated outside her race. Only a couple of weeks ago, she said she's willing to give black men a try. So after swirling 4 times, she's now willing to come back to black men. I guess black men are now the leave alones or the leftovers.
You don't come back to that man. You don't, man.
Yeah, so
Once
that's
you
what she
once you kick
is.
me to the curb, you stay on there.
And Tanya says maybe they're in love with it, with love, and keep trying blindly. Maybe it's that. That is a very
Yeah,
rare
but
possibility. Some
why?
people like the freshness of it.
Yeah, but you rich though. Why are you putting people in? Why are you seeking child support from somebody? I, I just I don't understand. I understand love and a woman's scorn and whatever, right? But shoot, if I were rich And if I were a woman, I were rich, and
Tanya's
the man,
provided a little clarity. It's a case where she's actually trying to not pay him child support. So she celebrated her victory here the other day because she went from 16,000 to 8,000 in child support payments. So that's what it is. That's what she's haggling over. But I think that goes back to your
so,
point. You're rich, so kick it up, man. So, haggling here is a bad
and
look.
this
So,
is
but
and
that's
this
just
is
me.
for and this is for and this is for your child.
Yeah,
I
pretty
don't,
much.
I don't know. Well, what the comments we have here? A lot of people are not mentally stable. Oh, Zoe. So many people out here fooling themselves. And we're not talking about Looney Tunes, Bellevue, insanity. We're talking about
Yeah,
people that just got
just
trauma that don't walk confront
I
it.
need to heal. Need to heal, man. Therapy is such a real thing. Embrace it.
Facts.
I think because she
Yes.
doesn't want to give him so we had that already, so she's tied him up in court. Nikki Nick, some people self sabotage, or my man call it sabotage,
What is
subconsciously too. So Steve is saying, so she's settling.
I see
Tony's
Steven like this. Go, boy. Steve ready to
Steven let
charge.
go.
Steven let us go, boy.
Tanya, I agree with you. Steve says it's obviously not for money, but a point to prove. Clearly.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Clearly. And Tanya
Yeah.
says not child support, spousal.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Okay. All right. Thanks, Tony. Okay. All right. Fine. All right. That's a different context because I keep reading certain articles or whatever, and they framed it as if she was putting him in court for child support. Man, I'm Oscar in the door. Like, you in poor? You are not
Yeah,
poor.
yeah, struggling.
So why are you putting the money? Yeah, why are you putting the money in court for what? For what? But anyhow,
Just
thanks for that, Tonya. I don't know, man. I think I don't want to cast aspersions on these women. I don't want to make it seem as if they're the problem. Maybe, I can have. Well, as you can see, I did have the story wrong when it came to Halle Berry. So it could very well be a case where they're unlucky in love. But for me personally, I feel as though you live and learn. I mean, look at me. I mean, I ain't got no relationship. Like, I still got my mess ups, and I still got, I still figuring it out. But I understand the reason why I have problems in my relationships. So I working on that for me. In terms of Halle Berry and Stacey Dash, I don't know. I don't know if they. I don't know. I don't know what's their bag. Tony is saying she doesn't want to pay a spousal. She is to prevent herself having to pay a spousal. So she threw back the check. But
all right, but I doing a little check in here on my own Neil, and it actually is child support. So I just did a quick Google, and it's moving from 16,000 to 8,000 in child support.
and she's seeing that as a win.
Yeah.
Man. Once you're looking to extort me, I'll pay whatever in child support. Once you're coming to tell me like I got paid to, I remember one time, what the boy name, Nas. Nas had to pay Khalees. I think she was asking for saying like $250,000. No, it wasn't so much. It was $50,000 a month for child support. And I was like, "What, this child's go school on Mars? Like, what? $50,000 in child support? Sheesh."
Okay, again, you know, Tanya. Again.
Right. So, yeah. So basically, hypergamy, people. Long story short, you like what you like, you want what you want to feel comfortable within the context of a relationship, whether that be sexual, whatever. Right. The point is that you have to have these conversations. You have to be honest with yourself with what you want, and you have to be honest with your partner. Now, once you do that, then there is no problem. Whether the man older, younger, woman older, younger, don't matter. The point is that you are facilitating and fulfilling what you need. And if you find someone that meets that criteria, then go for it. I literally don't know how this can be something incendiary or what have you. You know, yes, there are some women that are gold diggers. Yes, some women that are gigolos. Well, that's why you have taken on that role. You you're a more affable chap. You're a more likable guy. I would not be as kind in my responses, particularly some of these responses that I see you endure. So you know, you have the better temperament and patience for that. I would have done tell somebody something for telling me something unkind. But with that said, anything to add here? We coming up to 2 hours now. In terms of the live stream and hypergamy. Yeah, there are gold diggers. There are gigolos. There are people that seek to exploit. We are not talking about those situations. We are talking strictly about, you see a person, you assess who they are through whether visually or getting to know the person or whatever, and you assess like, yo, this person is for me. I like they check my boxes. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to go after. Then it don't matter what the world thinks. It don't matter what other people say. If you love the person loves you. You all are mutually beneficial for each other. You all empower each other, and you all provide within the context of your relationship or whatever the relationship is to feel comfortable. Then, to me, it don't matter. It do your thing. I know if you got anything to add there.
Nothing, man. Nothing. I think we wrapped it up pretty tight here tonight. I encourage everybody out there to tune in again next week. Well, sorry, Thursday. Tune in on Thursday.
Thursday.
Which, got a little bit more for you.
Which brings us to be talking about Thursday. We continue this topic, but from a different angle, or
probably from a different angle. We probably look at an arty, probably the ugly side of hypergamy. See how that goes. So yeah, follow the page, share it with your friends, and we'll see you guys again on Thursday. As always, be the best version of you.
Yeah, my man Derek said, be the best version of you. Thing you normally say, but I gotta say this, right? Yo, if you gonna go on Derek's page and you are gonna harshly comment and criticize, and you gonna say all you gotta say in his comments, and don't come on this platform to get the full understanding and to get our opinions on it. If you're going to base Derek's opinion and by extension the opinions of this podcast based on the amount of characters in that post, if you are going to judge our ideology based on what you think Derek's post means and how you perceive it, then that is sad. You either come in to either engage us in conversation to change our minds, you either come in to understand our point of view, or you left out the content. But don't go on Derek's page cursing the man, telling the man he this, that, and whatever. And then you come in here. Don't do that. Derek said this. Close us out again, man. I didn't mean to cross you or whatever, but I just that pisses me off to no end.
That's fine, guy. I appreciate it. Again, come and have a chat, have a discussion. We are here for it. Tonya, we had a little back and forth here tonight. I said something, Tonya didn't agree. We discussed it. It was cool. We're not always going to agree, but it's a matter of trying to get a little closer in terms of the understanding. So, as always, guys, again, follow the page, like the page, and as you go forward, be the best version of you.
The best version of you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. Deuces.